as Mary Carrillo reports, what Long has done, by force of sheer guts and determination, almost defies belief.
One morning this past July in Lake Placid, New York,
leave it on the course, boys!
Matt Long and 7 of his friends gathered to compete in one of the most punishing events in the world, the Ironman Triathlon. If it's not most people's idea of a fun weekend activity, Matt Long isn't like most, to say the least. For a living, the 43-year-old New York City firefighter has run into burning buildings. And now, on his day off, he's planning to swim 2.4 miles, then bike 112, then run a full marathon. A physical trial most people can barely fathom.
And they're like, oh, how many days you get to do that? And like, you know, you have 17 hours to finish it. And they look at you like, what? And you get the same kind of reaction when you tell people like, yeah, I had a good day at work today. I ran into a burning building. The fire was above the head. And they're like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that feeling of pushing your body and your mind beyond the limits is just unbelievable what you're capable of doing.
Long was always an athlete, but it took a life-changing event to make him into an Ironman. 9/11, the day he watched the second tower collapse, saw hundreds of his fellow New York firefighters die, and vowed from then on to always be in peak physical condition. Matt's family saw him become obsessed with competing, and watched with amusement as the bachelor's social circle became dominated by fanatic triathletes.
I'm like, oh, I'm having a barbecue. I'm going to come down. And they would call me like, well, who's coming? And I'm like, what do you mean who's coming? Friends. I'm inviting all my friends. Like, well, are you bringing the cult? Because if the cult's coming, we'll pass.
By the summer of 2005, Matt completed his first Ironman in Lake Placid, and later that fall he finished so strong at the New York City Marathon that he qualified for the elite Boston Marathon, where he thought he could do even better.
And then what happened?
I was run over by a bus.
When you say it like that, it's so surreal. Yeah, I was run over by a bus.
And usually when I say it, people say, no, you were hit by a bus. And I said, no. It's a 40,000-pound bus. Took me under its front wheel, and they had to lift the bus to get me out. I was run over, yeah.
What happened to Matt Long took place here, at this intersection in Midtown Manhattan, in the early hours of a frigid winter morning back in 2005. Because of a transit strike, Matt was riding his bike to work along this street when a private bus made an illegal turn directly into him. So rather than bouncing off the side of the bus, Matt Long was pulled underneath it. Rescue workers used high-pressure airbags to first lift the bus so they could then saw him free from his bike. When he arrived at the hospital, trauma surgeons Doctors Dean Lorich and Somi Ichimpati assessed the damage.
He was basically impaled by the bicycle seat, so he had a huge hole between his legs, encompassing his rectum and bladder and urethra, all the way through to his intestines.
You know, with that, he basically ripped one side of his pelvis off of his body so that the pelvis and the leg were no longer functionally attached to his skeleton and to his spine.
Matt's left leg was crushed from his hip to his toes, with broken bones ripping through his skin. His right shoulder and pelvis were fractured. To his doctors, Matt's mangled frame was one thing, but the blood pouring out of his body was something else.
How much blood did he lose?
He lost his blood volume, people would estimate 4 to 5 times over. So if we took all the blood out of his body, gave it back, and did this 4 or 5 times, that's about how much blood he lost in about 10, 11 hours.
Matt's parents, Eileen and Mike Long, were at home when they got a call from one of their sons.
Phone rang. It was Jim on the phone. And Jim said that Matt had got hurt and that he had broke his leg.
When the Longs got to the hospital, the doctors told them the whole truth.
They said that it was serious and that he had about 1% chance to survive.
1% chance. That's all they gave him?
That's what they gave him. Yeah.
It took 72 hours for the doctors to stop the bleeding, but an infection could still have easily killed him.
Did his fitness level play a very big role in his survival?
Absolutely.
I think it made him more resilient to the infection that would have killed a lot of other people.
The story of survival became news around New York. The 9/11 veteran who'd beaten death again. But after 5 months and 40 surgeries, Matt looked defeated, leaving the hospital 50 pounds lighter than when he got there, and told it would be 2 years before he knew what his future would hold.
I'm scared. I'm scared. 2 years of
of not knowing what I have in front of me. I'm scared, of course.
Though determined to stand for his farewell, Matt didn't know if he'd ever walk again or be rid of his colostomy bag. And it had to be tough. I mean, here you are, in this kind of brassy firefighter jock. I mean, your whole identity changed, right?
It did. It did. And it was really hard to get over it. For a while, I just call it pity, but I thought about all the things I wanted to do that would no longer be able to do. And for a while, I just sat there.
How long?
I'd say maybe 6 months. I would get out once in a while with the guys from the fire department, but if I did go out for beer, I'd be worried about the colostomy. I'd be worried about getting knocked over or being uncomfortable. So I'd rather just say, hey, I'm not feeling it. And I shut everyone out.
Matt says that he fell into a depression and he told his parents that he'd had enough.
I just said, I'm glad you guys prayed. I'm glad that you guys got what you wanted. You should have prayed the opposite, because no one should suffer the way I'm suffering. And I wish I would have passed away.
I was trying to think of something to say to him, and then I just said, look, you have to knock this crap off. I said, you've done a lot of good things, and you will still do a lot of good things. And if you want to sit in your house and become a bag of crap, then stay there and be a bag of crap. I said, but you're not going to tell us that we shouldn't be happy that you're alive, because we are.
A few days later, Matt changed his tune.
And at one point I clicked and I started changing the word want to will. And I said I will make a comeback to sport the way I used to be.
The first step was 2 tricky surgeries that reversed the colostomy.
That's it.
Then came a relentless rehab schedule that resembled his old training days and allowed him to ditch his crutches for a cane. And finally, determined to run again, Matt found running specialists who got him back on the road for his first mile.